The Chronicle of Chik'folay, his journey from a street-level cheat to a reformed guardian. Chapter 1. The Spark and the Scavenge Blade, the Youth Years. Chik'folay was born into the lower-level squalor of Ord Mantell, a world defined by scrapyards, gambling dens, and mid-rim transit. His father, a shrewd junk dealer named Chik'folay, spent his days breaking down wrecked starships for the local syndicates. When Chik'folay was 12, his father was dismantling the cockpit of a heavily modified, centuries-old dynamic class freighter brought in from the deep core. While stripping the bulkheads, Chik'folay felt a strange, inexplicable pull toward a seamless alloy bulkhead. Following a gut instinct he couldn't explain, he tore away the outer plating to find a heavily shielded, hidden compartment. Inside lay a functional, ancient lightsaber with a cracked casing and a faint green hue. Chik'folay knew possessing a Jedi weapon on Ord Mantell was a death sentence if the wrong people found out. He couldn't teach his son how to wield it, but he knew a disgraced, washed-up former Core World mercenary named Vandis who hid out in the district. Vandis possessed limited knowledge of basic lightsaber forms, enough to teach the boy how to ignite it, holding standard guard postures, deflecting slow-moving training remotes, and rudimentary techniques for adversarial fighting. During these sessions, Vandis realized something staggering. Chik'folay had little physical aptitude for the blade, but his connection to the Force was a roaring fire. He wasn't just predicting where the training remotes would fire. He was passively causing sparring partners and real-life adversaries to misread his position by dampening his presence, and sometimes vanishing completely from them. Chapter 2. The Survivalist and the Negotiator, the Teenage Years. Chik'folay passed away when Chik'folay was 16 years old, which left him to fend for himself in the cutthroat underworld of the Lady Fate Casino District. Lacking the physical strength to fight off local enforcers and refusing to use the lightsaber openly, he turned to the shadows, seeking out illicit holocrons and black market slicers who traded in forbidden lore. Through these questionable characters, he didn't learn how to move rocks or shoot lightning. He learned the mechanics of the sentient mind. He discovered that a Fasha's natural cadence of speech, combined with subtle, targeted pulses of the Force, could erode a target's mental friction. By age 18, he had mastered a technique he quietly dubbed the Negotiator. He didn't force people to obey commands like a blunt Jedi mind trick. He slowly remodeled their perception of reality until they believed his lies were their own original thoughts. This came to a legendary climax when he was 20, sitting at a high-stakes sabacc table in the back rooms of Smuggler's Haven. Chik'folay went all in against a notorious bounty hunter holding a lethal blue bolt blaster pistol. Even though Chik'folay often held a losing hand, over 3 hours of casual conversation and steady, invisible force manipulation, he completely dismantled his opponent's cognitive awareness, convincing his opponent they held losing hands and would often fold, all while unawareingly building debt beyond their credits. By the end of the game, Chik'folay confidently laid down his losing cards, looked the hunter in the eye, and warmly thanked him for all the games. He also informed and convinced the dazed hunter that he owed a massive debt, and that surrendering the blue bolt pistol was the only honorable way to square it. The hunter handed over the weapon, apologized for the inconvenience, and walked out, completely oblivious to the fact that he'd been utterly fleeced. Chapter 3. The Greed, the Young Adult Years. For the next few years, Chik'folay lived like a king in the mid-rim underworld. He became the ultimate phantom partner for local spice runners and swoop gang leaders. He would sit in on corporate negotiations, border disputes, and criminal mergers, subtly bending the minds of executives and crime lords to ensure his employers won every deal, with Chik'folay taking a massive under-the-table cut. He amassed wealth, influence, and comfort, completely detached from the lives he ruined, treating the minds of others as mere instruments to play. Chapter 4. The Awakening the adult years. The turning point came on his 25th birthday on the crime world of Ine Arshada in the Outer Rim. Chik'folay was hired by a cruel exchange syndicate boss from the Hutt cartel to negotiate the eviction of a massive refugee settlement to make way for a new spice processing facility. Chik'folay used his talents to convince the refugee elders that leaving their homes and walking into the dangerous lower industrial sectors was their own safe idea. He watched them march away, smiling and thanking him. 2 days later, he learned that the exchange boss had ambushed the displaced refugees in the lower levels to sell them into off-world labor camps. For the first time, the weight of his passive cruelty crushed him. He realized that bending a mind was no different than pulling a trigger. He was stripping away the one thing the Force gave every living creature: free will. Horrified by his own legacy of greed, Chik'folay vanished into exile. For the next decade, he focused completely on re-engineering his purpose. He realized his past could never be erased, but his unique, overwhelming strength in mental manipulation could be used as a shield for the defenseless, and with his great wealth to build a refuge for those in need. Chapter 5: Solitude and the Discovery. Deep in the Outer Rim, the ruined world of Thyla held the debris of an ancient celestial gateway, a colossal ring of dark matter architecture that defied known physics. Seeking penance for a profoundly immoral past, Chik'folay sought the ruin not for power, but to find a way to atone for his past. Armed only with his intense, unguided connection to the Force, Chik'folay spent years in solitude among the quiet, humming monoliths, clearing the rubble by hand to build a sanctuary for off-grid refugees. In the 5th year of solitude, when a former warlord's orbital strike rained turbo laser fire upon the valley, the structure's ancient core flared to life, warping the surrounding space into a shimmering distortion. To save a trapped child beneath a collapsing 5-ton celestial stone slab, Chik'folay surged forward. Lacking a Jedi's training, he relied on pure instinct and the absolute clarity of his desire to do good. As he slammed his hands against the stone, Chik'folay stopped trying to lift it. Instead, he reached into the Force, feeling the gateway's residual spatial geometry. He realized the stone wasn't a solid barrier, but a dense tapestry of vibrating matter. Aligning his own spirit with the ancient frequency of the relic, Chik'folay felt reality bend around him. His skin flickered with a cold, pale frost as he phased completely through the solid rock. Stepping inside the hollow space beneath, he wrapped his arms around the child and phased back out into the open air, leaving the falling monolith to crush empty dirt. Though exhausted, Chik'folay knew his redemptive path had opened a doorway through the impossible. Chapter 6: Redemption, Present Day. Now at 35, Chik'folay is a highly disciplined, deeply focused operative for the greater good. He carries his father's salvaged lightsaber on his belt as a symbol of the path he could have taken, and the Blue Bolt blaster is tucked away as a reminder of his deceptive past. He spends his hours in deep meditation, systematically expanding his Force reservoir and practicing sophisticated mental arts like mind trick, illusion, and trying to repeat his latest discovery to manipulate the atomic structure of his own body to slip slightly out of alignment with physical matter. Instead of forcing targets to do his bidding, he now uses his negotiator talents to dismantle the conviction of corrupt politicians, quietly force syndicate bosses to confess to local authorities, and pacify violent conflicts before a single drop of blood is spilled. He is a warrior who often never strikes, fighting a war entirely within the minds of those who seek to do harm. Yet, should Chik'folay witness someone, even a friend, acting out of pure malice, take warning. Within seconds, you will find yourself completely helpless, desperately wondering what just hit you and why your own conscience feels so heavily bruised.